This video was designed to acquaint Brookshire Brothers Bakery and Deli Department employees with safety procedures and guidelines that must be followed in order to maintain a safe and productive workplace. At most locations, the bakery and deli departments are located together in a single department. Therefore, we will make reference to the bakery deli as one department, even though the two departments are physically separated at some locations. We want to start with the topic of housekeeping. Good housekeeping is essential to maintaining a safe workplace. Oftentimes, injuries such as scrapes, burns, muscle strains, slips, trips, and falls can be directly linked or caused by poor housekeeping. Regardless of your job description, following good housekeeping procedures is one of the simplest but most effective tools available to maintain a safe work environment. Good housekeeping procedures should be followed at all times by all employees. Let's take a look at some examples of good and poor housekeeping. We'll start with the condition of the floors. Floors should be kept clean and dry as much as practical. Great care must be taken to not let the condition of the floor get out of hand. The clean-as-you-go approach should be utilized instead of waiting until the end of day to conduct one massive cleanup. During times of food preparation, foreign objects such as food scraps, pieces of paper, or plastic sometimes end up on the floor. These items should be cleaned up immediately. Liquids such as cooking oil or blood should also be immediately cleaned up. These types of liquids can be very slippery if left on the floor. Clutter is another component of poor housekeeping. Unnecessary clutter should be kept off the floor. Everything should have a place and remain there unless being used. Clutter is one of the leading causes of trip and fall accidents. When performing stocking duties, never leave empty boxes on the sales floor or in the work area, but rather break down those boxes and place on a shopping cart or stocking cart. Maintenance issues can also contribute to poor housekeeping. Leaky sinks, damaged drain covers, or other slip or trip hazards should be reported to your supervisor immediately. Until repairs have been completed, steps should be taken to make the area safe. For example, cones can be utilized to warn those in the area of a hazard, or barricades can be constructed to keep individuals away from a hazard. Overhead storage areas and racks for pots and pans should be kept neat and orderly to prevent objects from falling. Bakery and deli departments must utilize coolers and freezers to store perishable food products. It's just as important to utilize good housekeeping procedures in freezers and coolers as it is in the prep area. Let's take a look inside. Product should be kept neat, orderly, and easily accessible. Never stack or leave product lying on the floor. The floor should remain clean and free of debris. When stacking products on storage racks, heavier items should be stacked on lower levels and lighter items stacked overhead. Don't stack product higher than necessary. Reaching above shoulder height to remove or stock products puts additional strain on shoulders, especially with heavy items. Never climb on shelves or stand on top of product. Only company-approved stools or ladders should be used when you have to reach overhead. Always inspect before using and report any step stool or ladder that appears damaged, wobbly, or unsafe to your manager, and do not use until repaired or replaced. Ice on the floor is another concern when working in freezers and coolers. Loose ice or ice buildup should be immediately cleaned up. If a liquid spill occurs, try to clean it up before it turns to ice. Keep the door closed unless entering or exiting the freezer. Leaving doors open for prolonged periods of time can cause condensation, which can lead to ice buildup on the product and the floor. Air curtains are designed to help control humidity and should not be draped open. Under normal circumstances, you should not have to work for long periods of time in a freezer. There are, however, times when you will be required to spend longer amounts of time than normal. At these times, be sure to wear a heavy jacket to keep you warm and gloves to protect your hands from the cold. We've spent an ample amount of time on housekeeping. Now let's move to chemical safety. Cleaners, detergents, and sanitizers are used extensively in the bakery deli. Only company-approved cleaning products are authorized for use. Never pull cleaners off the shelf or out of other departments. Most cleaners approved for use are supplied by Procter & Gamble and arrive at the store in concentrated form. These concentrated cleaners are connected to chemical dispensing stations which automatically dilute the cleaner with water as they are dispensed. Hoses are labeled to ensure cleaners are connected properly. It's very important that cleaners do not get crossed or connected to the wrong hose. Cleaners incorrectly connected can cause someone to mistakenly use a cleaner for the wrong application or to not take appropriate action when using. To use the chemical station, first make sure the water is turned on to the station. Then simply depress the desired lever to dispense diluted chemical into a properly labeled spray bottle, bucket, or sink. Never dispense a cleaner into a container not properly labeled or into a container labeled for a different cleaner. Most authorized spray bottles have labels with directions for use as well as hazards associated with the chemical. Each person must ensure cleaners are correctly labeled and that the labels can be read. Bottles with damaged or badly faded labels should be replaced. Each department has a Procter & Gamble Cleaning Program Procedures binder. The manual contains information about each chemical as well as proper cleaning and sanitizing procedures for most of the job tasks you'll be expected to carry out. If you're uncertain about how to use a chemical, be sure to reference the manual. Each store has a right-to-know information station located either around the time clock or the employee break area. The station holds a binder filled with material safety data sheets. A material safety data sheet is also called an MSDS. An MSDS contains important information about the chemicals such as hazardous components, health hazards, emergency and first aid procedures, and other information about the chemical. You may look up an MSDS for any approved chemical at any time. The table of contents located in front of the binder also serves as the list of chemicals approved for use in the store. Each chemical listed in the table of contents has a corresponding MSDS. If you are ever in doubt as to whether or not a chemical is approved for use, be sure and check the MSDS book. Any questions about a chemical or MSDS can be directed to store management or the corporate safety office. Working in the bakery deli department requires a certain amount of lifting. Good posture, good physical condition, proper body mechanics, and performing safe lifting techniques all contribute to maintaining a healthy back. By developing safe lifting habits, you can help protect yourself against unnecessary injuries and back-related medical problems. Pay attention as we demonstrate what is considered safe lifting techniques. Stand as close as you can to the load with your feet spread apart about shoulder width. Squat down, bending your knees, not your waist. Keep your back straight. Get a good grip with both hands before beginning the lift. Begin slowly lifting with your legs, not your back. Keep the load close to your body to reduce the force on your back. If you must turn while carrying the load, turn using your feet, not your torso. It is equally important that the load is set down correctly. The same procedures must be followed in reverse order when setting down the load. Always ask for help when lifting items too heavy or bulky to safely lift alone. Do not attempt to lift anything you do not feel comfortable lifting. In addition, be sure to utilize rolling carts and other available equipment to assist in handling and transporting heavy items. The next session deals with the personal protective equipment, or PPE. PPE is safety equipment designed to help keep individuals from experiencing injuries when performing certain tasks. Let's look at specific PPE requirements for bakery deli employees. Slip-resistant shoes. Because of the difficulty of keeping floors clean and dry at all times, it is mandatory that all employees working in the bakery deli department wear slip-resistant shoes purchased from Shoes for Crews. These shoes are specially designed to help keep individuals from slipping when working in food prep areas. We realize that not everyone will be able to find a pair of shoes from Shoes for Crews that fit comfortably, and that others have special needs for shoes. For these individuals, Shoes for Crews offers a slip-resistant overshoe that can be worn over most any type shoe. Wearing the overshoes meets the slip-resistant shoe requirement. Slip-resistant shoes should be replaced when tread wears down. Shoes will not maintain slip-resistant characteristics once the tread is overly worn. Because of the tread design of slip-resistant shoes, food particles and other matter tends to collect between the tread. It is necessary to clean the soles daily to prevent buildup. Buildup between the treads reduces the effectiveness of the shoes. As mentioned in the housekeeping section of this video, slip-resistant shoes are not a substitute for maintaining clean and dry floors. Now let's take a look at cut-resistant safety gloves. There are several job tasks that require the use of cut-resistant gloves in the bakery deli. Regardless of the task at hand, vinyl gloves must be worn over cut-resistant gloves to prevent the spread of bacteria. Hands should be washed every time a cut-resistant glove is removed. Anytime a knife is used, a cut-resistant glove must be worn on the hand opposite the knife. The glove will protect your hand if contacted by the knife blade under normal conditions. It's important to be aware that cut-resistant gloves will not prevent a stab wound. Some delis are equipped with slicers. Slicers are used to slice lunch meat and cheese. If all safety procedures are followed, slicers are generally safe to operate and to clean. Cut-resistant safety gloves are not designed to be used with rotating blades. Therefore, safety gloves should not be worn when using the slicer. The rotating blade will cut through a safety glove. For your protection, slicers are equipped with guards. Guards are designed to put a barrier between the operator hand and the rotating blade. Never operate a slicer without the guard in place. Once the slicer has been used to slice product, it will need to be cleaned. Prior to cleaning, always make sure the slicer is unplugged. Because of the exposed blade, safety gloves are always required when cleaning the slicer. Gloves must be worn on both hands anytime the slicer is broken down for cleaning. The circular blade on the slicer is very sharp and will cut even when it's not rotating. When finished using the slicer, always turn the knob to 0. This puts the blade even with the deck and will help prevent someone from contacting the blade when adding product or wiping down the slicer. You will be working around hot surfaces and equipment including ovens, stovetops, rotisseries, and fryers. Care must be taken when working in this environment to prevent burns. Burns are often the result of employees not paying attention to their surroundings or the task at hand. Pay attention and think about your safety and the safety of those working in the vicinity. For example, when removing a rack from an oven, be sure to warn other employees that you just removed a hot rack. Oven mitts and heat-resistant rubber gloves are available to use when removing pans and racks from the oven, rotisseries, and stovetops. Be sure to utilize these items. Never use towels or other products not designed for handling hot items. Another contributor to burns is not understanding how to correctly and safely perform a task or not understanding how to use a particular piece of equipment. If you do not feel comfortable with safely performing a job, it is your responsibility to let your manager or person in charge know that you need assistance or additional training. There are several models and types of fryers in operation. Refer to the operator's manual for specific instructions on how to safely filter grease in the model at your location. Regardless of the type of fryer, heat-resistant rubber gloves, eye protection, and a rubber apron must be worn when filtering grease or cleaning the inside of a fryer. Most locations are equipped with a grease pump, which is used to transfer used grease from fryers to the grease recycle container located outside the store. Certain steps must be followed to prevent burns when using grease pumps. Always allow temperature to cool to around 160 degrees Fahrenheit before attempting to transfer to the grease pump. Never transfer at drop temperature. To remove grease from the fryer, place the metal filler tube into the fryer. Turn the hand crank counterclockwise. Be careful not to spill oil onto the ground. After emptying fryer, place filler tube into the drain opening to prevent dripping. Empty grease pump immediately while oil is still warm and liquid. Do not leave grease in the container or it will cool and solidify. Slowly and carefully proceed to the grease recycle container, making sure that the grease does not drip onto the sales floor. To remove oil from the grease pump, place the filler tube in the grease recycle container and turn the hand crank clockwise. After the grease pump is empty, turn the pump handle counterclockwise 6 to 8 times to clear pump of any remaining oil. Carefully bring the grease pump back into the store into the bakery deli department, making sure not to drip grease onto the sales floor. Exhaust hoods are located above fryers and other cooking appliances. Exhaust hoods are equipped with automatic fire suppression systems. The automatic suppression system will activate and automatically discharge if the temperature inside the hood reaches a certain temperature. The system can also be activated by pulling the pin at the proper pull station. Make sure you're aware of the location of all pull stations and know which pull station operates each hood. You should also be familiar with the location of fire extinguishers in your department. Most bakery delis have at least 2 fire extinguishers available. The silver extinguisher is designed to be used under the exhaust hoods, and the red extinguisher is designed for use anywhere in the bakery deli. In the event of a fire, only those individuals trained and authorized to use fire extinguishers should attempt to extinguish small fires. Equipment such as stoves, fryers, mixers, and other appliances should remain in good working condition. Inform your manager of any equipment problems. Store personnel should not attempt to service or make repairs on equipment. Only qualified maintenance personnel are authorized for such repairs. Also, be sure to unplug or disconnect any appliance from the power source before cleaning, disassembling, or reaching into the vicinity of moving parts for any reason. Some equipment is equipped with safety guards or automatic shutoff switches. These are in place to help operators remain safe when using or cleaning the equipment. In the bakery deli, many jobs occur simultaneously throughout the day. A safe work environment can only be achieved when everyone is working together and looking out for the safety of themselves and those working around them. Remember, safety is up to you.